Hello everyone, welcome back to our subject web technology. So in the previous topic we have seen about various text properties and the box model. Okay, so the continuation of the box model is the today's topic, normal flow box layout. Okay, so in box model we have seen how the HTML elements render each and everything in the browser window. Okay, so by default each element will have a rectangular box attached to it, and we could change those spaces between the HTML elements, like changing the margins, margin pixels, padding, border. We have seen, is it not so? So the continuation of the topic we are going to see about normal flow box layout. Okay, so here normal flow box layout is nothing but usually the browser renders the HTML element where the HTML element will be represented in a rectangular box. Okay, so in that box only the content will be placed. Okay, the HTML content will be placed in that box. Okay, so the box size, everything will be the length, yeah, the length in sense of margin, padding, border, everything will the default the browser will choose the values by default, and we the user could change all those values. Okay, and within the box we can have the nested HTML elements where those elements are contained within the parent box. Okay, so normal flow is nothing but browser's standard way of rendering the HTML element, where each and every HTML element has a corresponding rectangular box, and those boxes margin, border, padding, everything we the user have the option to change using CSS properties. Okay, so that we have covered in the previous topic about n number of CSS properties like margin, top, left, right, bottom, similarly for border and padding. Okay, so here we are going to see one example how the HTML document containing the nested div elements are rendered by the browser. Okay, so when we have the nested div elements, how those are rendered by the browser. Okay, so have a closer look of this example HTML program. Here in the header part I have given only the part of the header part. So this the root element of this HTML document is HTML element, followed by we will be having the head. Inside the head we are having this style. Okay, I hope you will be knowing this style is nothing but embedded style, is it not? We have three categories of CSS we have seen, is it not? So inline, embedded and external. So this is I hope you will be knowing it. So using this style HTML element we have styled the HTML document. So this comes under embedded, okay, or internal style sheet. So we will come back to this style each and everything. So before that let's have a look into the body part of this HTML document. Okay, so in the body part we have division element. Okay, as I told you, division is simply to provide the section. Okay, so to provide sectioning of our HTML documents. Okay, so we have the div id is equal to d1. Hope you will be knowing what that id stands for. Okay, id is nothing but to style this element, this div element alone, because we have given its id name as d1. Okay, so d1 can have, we can style using this d1. Okay, and div id d2 and in nested. So why nested we are saying, because in div id d1 we are having inside div id d2, and inside div id d2 we have div id d3, and also we have the class is equal to shade. Okay, and it doesn't contains any value, just simply closing that division d3. Okay, and outside the d3 we have div id d4. Okay, so d4 class is equal to shade and top margin. So this div id d4 has two classes, shade, top margin, and of course it has d4 id. Okay, so this in CSS we have to define this d4 by using hash d4, and these classes we have to define this style using dot shade, dot top margin, because these are the class name. So when we represent the class name in CSS document, we have to define the style by means of the syntax dot class name, that's dot shade and dot top margin. Okay, and we are closing the div and the outer div gets closed. Okay, so nothing is no content is placed inside this div. Now let's look and into its style. Okay, so what we are doing in style HTML element, we are styling the root element HTML and body to be the border of solid red thin. Okay, solid means continuous, so red in color, and it's thin. Okay, thin in the sense light border. Okay, so not the thick border, maybe 1 pixels or 2 pixels. Okay, and see here, this is the outer part is the HTML root element, and inside the HTML we have the body part. Okay, but here have a look, HTML border is of very thick, because we have overridden that previously defined border solid red thin as now the HTML to be border width as thick. Okay, that's what we are getting, the thick border over here, and body border is of thin, and body padding is 15. So padding in the sense space, space in after the content. Okay, body content. Okay, so padding for all the four sides, since we haven't explicitly mentioned padding right or left or bottom, so simply padding, this is the shortcut way of giving the all four sides of 15 pixels. Okay, this is the body border, and this is the padding. Okay, 15 pixels. And what we are doing, we are giving style for the div element. Okay, so div margin is 0 pixel, padding is 15. Again div has the padding, each and every div has the padding 15. Border is what, solid black 2 pixels. So I hope you will able to clearly visualize the output of this program. So see here, the we have how many divs, 1 2 3 4 divs. Okay, so all are of black in color, 2 pixel size, and solid. Okay, and what's happening next, dot shade, shade is the class name, and we are just styling it using dot shade. Within this, what we are doing, background color to be aqua. Okay, so where we are using the shade in div 3. So div 3 is nothing but this block. Okay, so this block has the background color as aqua. Okay, and top margin is a class, so that that's what it is prefixed by dot symbol, dot top margin, whose style is margin top is 10 pixel. So margin where we are using in div 4. So div 4 where it is out of this div 3. So this is div 3. Yeah, this is div 4. So in div 4 we have two classes, shade and top margin. Shade will have the background color aqua, and top margin is what, margin top is 10 pixels. So here this is the border, so above the border is the margin, so and that too the top only the 10 pixels. Okay, so and these are all what, these are all padding. Okay, so division padding 15. Okay, the remaining are division padding. Okay, so this is how the HTML element will render the div elements. Okay, so yeah, it's of rectangular box. Okay, it follows since we are having a nested div, the things are arranged in this manner. Okay, so hope you are following with me, and this is quite simple topic, and we will move on to the next called as display property. So display property, what it speaks means it's all about block element. I hope I have discussed a number of times about the block elements and inline elements. Okay, so block element means those are the HTML elements where the browser will automatically generates a new line for those elements. And some of the example for block elements are given here: HTML body, paragraph, pre-formatted text, division, form, frame set, and list, order unorder list, then headings h1 through h6. So these are some of the block elements. What does it mean? Automatically the browser will take these elements into new line. Okay, so by default these elements have the display property as block. Okay, that's the meaning. Okay, so CSS will have the default value for these elements as block. And of course we have the option, the CSS gives us the option to change its default settings block as inline. Okay, so inline, I think you will be knowing it. It means, so it do not interrupt the flow of document by starting a new line. Okay, it means, so it will display as it is. The content of those inline elements will be displayed in a single line, where it won't automatically it won't automatically give a new line. Okay, so inline elements are those elements so that do not interrupt the flow of document. It means it won't take the document to the next line. Okay, so we could override the default value of block to be inline in like this. Okay, so by default the paragraph is of a display property as block. Okay, we could change it into inline using this style. Okay, display colon inline. Okay, now the paragraph will turn into inline element. Okay, this is all about display property. We have two values, block and inline. Block means the elements we can take we can those are the HTML elements that generates a new line. Okay, so the default property of those block elements can be overridden by changing its display to be inline. And moving on to margin collapse. Okay, margin collapse, it's quite interesting. I will take you to the demo version of this margin collapse. Before that, let's see what margin collapse is. When block means block elements. When blocks stack in the sense one after the other, when we have the block elements, adjacent margins are collapsed to the size of the larger margin, because when it means when two block elements are placed one after the other, so those when the two block elements have the margin, those margins will be collapsed. Okay, that's the meaning it is given here. I'll take you to the demo that will make you very clear about what margin collapse is. Okay, when two consecutive block boxes are rendered, a special rule called as margin collapse is used to determine the vertical separation between the boxes of these two elements. Okay, I hope it's quite difficult to follow this definition, so let me straight away take you to the demo version. Okay, so let's have this program. I have the program called as margin collapse.html. So here in the header part, so I am using the external style sheet called as 4.margincollapse.css. Now there is a CSS file like this, and inside the body what I am having, I have one heading and paragraph. Okay, so that's it about this HTML file, and I'll take you to this CSS file. So what CSS file? I am making I am styling h1 and paragraph. So what I am doing with h1, I am setting the border for h1 as 5 pixels solid blue. Its margin is 50 pixels. 50 pixels in the sense all the four sides of this h1 margin will be, so that too after above the border. Okay, margin will play a role above the border. Okay, so below the border is the padding. And in paragraph what we are doing, the color to be purple, text align is center, border is 10 pixels, inset red, margin is again 50 pixels. Okay, let me change this into 75 so that you could easily visualize what that margin collapse is. Okay, saving it and go to that HTML file, and let's preview the output. Okay, so here is the output of that HTML file. So what it says, we have the h1 welcome to margin collapse. Okay, this is the h1 and surrounded by I'll take that CSS file, CSS, and our output. Okay, so this is the h1. So h1 border is 5 pixel, that's what it is, of thick, and solid means continuous, blue color, and margin. So margin in the sense this part. Okay, so this is 50 pixel, this side 50, below 50, and this side is also 50 pixels. Okay, now moving on to paragraph. So paragraph, the contents are text aligned centered, and color is purple, the paragraph color is purple, and border is of 10. You could differentiate the border of 10 pixel size and 5 pixels. And inset means, I think you will be seeing the difference between this border and this border, is it not? This is inset, and inset of red. So is it red? I hope. Why? Let me change it into, yeah, it's red. What's happened? Yeah, red. Okay, now it's right. And margin is 75. 75 means all around here. This is 75, 75, 75, and 75. So I'll inspect it. I'll inspect what's happening. So go right click, inspect. Let me make this as full screen. We'll see one by one. Okay, in the coding h1. Okay, h1, see here. So the that orange color, no, so that is of this one. Okay, so here you can visualize it here. Margin, all the four sides is of 50. So that's what the color here, it's displayed orange color. This is are of 50, and border, so border is 5 pixels, and that's it. Okay, no padding, so green color, nothing is displayed here. And moving on to this paragraph, go to this coding and paragraph. Okay, this is the paragraph rectangular box model. See here, 75 the overall. So now you could visualize here the distance between the h1 and the paragraph is 75. There comes the concept called as margin collapse. Okay, so this h1 has the margin as 50, whereas paragraph has the margin as 75. So it will pick up the larger value, 50 or 75. So it will take the 75 value and place the unplace it here. It will leave the space. The margin between the h1 and paragraph is 75. So here comes, since h1 is having 50 margin already, and paragraph having margin 75, so totally 125, is it not? So 125 space it doesn't leave, instead it will pick the higher value between this 250, between this two margins, 50 and 75. So this distance is nothing but 75. That's the concept behind the margin collapse. Okay, so the margin gets collapsed when two block elements are placed one after the other. It will pick the biggest value. Okay, the largest margin value will be picked out here. Okay, and we will explore more. So this is 75 margin, and border is 10. There is no padding. I'll take, this is the content. I'll give you the padding also. Okay, so here I have commented already. So just I'll take out that comment, save it, and refresh for h1. See here, now you could see the margin. Okay, so go to h1 box model. So the green color is the padding. Okay, all around the content. Okay, that is of 20 pixels, am I right? Yeah, 20 pixels. Okay, so padding, top, left, bottom, right, all the four sides of 20 pixels. Okay, so that's it about the margin collapse. So margin collapse is nothing but when two consecutive blocks are rendered by the browser, margin collapse will automatically happen to determine the vertical separation between the boxes by picking the larger margin between the two block elements. So in the example we have seen one margin is 50 pixels, the other is 75. So it will pick the larger margin 75. Okay. So the continuation, the same thing is given here in pictorial representation. So we have two block elements, one block element here with the margin as this much space, and this block element have to be placed vertically here below this first block. Okay, so whose margin is of nothing but margin top 2. Okay, when the two elements are placed, so it will pick the biggest one. Okay, so margin top or margin bottom, bottom one, which one is bigger? So by seeing visually we could say margin bottom one is bigger, so that much space is allotted. Okay, that's the concept of margin collapse. So these things are automatically done by the browser. Okay, and moving on to block box width and height. Okay, so by default the initial value or default is auto in the sense when the browser is expanded or shrinked, the size, the height and width gets adjusted automatically, and we can have the fixed value also by having by specifying the border left width, padding left, padding right, margin left, right values we can fix it, or by default it will be automatic. Okay, so when we place the content inside some div elements means based on the size the height and width gets adjusted. Okay, so suppose what happens if we are mentioning the width to be automatic, and apart from that other than that if we have if we styled if we have given the value as margin left and margin right. Okay, so we have given an absolute value for margin left and margin right, so then remaining are automatic. Okay, so it means the browser will automatically fix the values. Okay, how it gets width means by having the computation like this. Okay, width is equal to parents displayed content width minus margin, since we have given the margin left and margin right. So and of course if there is a padding left and right means all it will take up all the values, and that difference is nothing but the computed with the computed value of width. Okay, for this current element. Okay, so by default you remember width and height is automatic, the initial value is automatic, which means the browser will automatically adjust the adjust its size when we place the content inside the block elements. Okay, and one more thing about width we could mention in terms of percentage also. So this percentage affects based on its parent value. Okay, suppose in div 3 we have given the id as d3. Okay, so we can change its width to be 50%. 50% in the sense with relative to its parent. Okay, when the parent is of 100% width means and in that 100% 50 half of that width will be this div 3. Okay, and one more, to center an element, and center in the sense I think you will be knowing it, to keep it in the middle. Okay, so for that we can style like this. Okay, with this of 50% and margin left and right you set to auto, and just explore it what's happening when you style an element like this. Okay, that element will be centered. Okay, so you each and everything you please go and practice it, then only it will be familiarized for you. Okay, otherwise just listening and going won't help you in any way, you can't learn anything. Just explore it each and everything. Okay, by changing different values. And speaking about inline elements, so far we have seen about the block elements. Okay, block elements means those are the HTML elements where the browser generates the new line, whereas inline means new lines won't be generated. What happens if we place that inline elements within the block element? Okay, how the size gets adjusted by the browser, so that's the thing we are seeing it. Okay, so suppose you assume we have this span is an inline element. Okay, so we are styling that span element font size to be 36 point. Okay, and whose content is big. Okay, assume we have some paragraph like some big letters. Okay, generally some big letters is a paragraph. So inside the paragraph we have the span element whose we are picking the word big, whose font size is bigger than the block element. So what's happened, the see here the line box arranged here. Okay, so these paragraph are arranged as usual, the normal flow. And see here the span, since we have specifically mentioned the font size to be 36 point, it is bigger than this block element, is it not? So the size gets adjusted to hold this span element. Okay, this is an inline box whose size gets adjusted to hold this 36 point. Okay, so all the remaining height also gets adjusted over here, only this line. Okay, so this is of two line, this paragraph is arranged in two lines, some big in one line, letters in another line. And I think you could visually see this size. Okay, this cell content is smaller when compared to this cell. Okay, this is bigger because we have mentioned this span to be of 36 point. So the key takeaway of this concept is, so simple inline boxes or boxes for inline elements that contain only text or of image. Okay, so here it speaks about the examples for inline elements, span, images. Okay, the main point here we need to notice, the height of content area is determined by the height of the character cell. Okay, so here it is of 36 point, this B is of 36 point, so this is the height of this line box. Okay, or we can or we could change the height by using the line height property also, as we have seen already. And of course, using one more property called as the vertical align, we could change the vertical placement of inline boxes. Okay, that takes some three values like text bottom, text top, and middle. Okay, so what does it mean? Means if we give the property vertical align and the value to be text bottom, means it will be that text will be arranged at the bottom of this baseline, whereas text top means it will be moved to the top of that inline box. Middle means in the center. Okay, so that's the meaning. We could change the vertical placement of the inline elements. Okay, using the special property called as vertical align, which takes one of these three values. So you please go through it by practicing each and every property values. Okay, so just listening is not enough, just practice it by changing the vertical align value to be text bottom, text top, and middle. Okay, so by default, I mean the initial value of vertical align is baseline. Baseline, I think we have seen, baseline is the line where the text content is placed over here, and from the baseline to the bottom, that's the baseline height. We have seen, I think, in the previous topic itself about the imaginary line box. Okay, and finally about the nested inline box. So what does it mean? So inside the block element, if we have the inline element with some content, so and here in this example in div3 class is a shade, we have some content, here are some lines of text. This then we have the strong is an inline element whose style is of line height 3, and bold. So this bold alone will take line height is of 3. This bold word has a line height of 3. Okay, so that's the content it gets displayed. So default without no content, the things will be, the imaginary boxes rendered by the browser looks like this. When we place the content, the box line gets automatically changed to what we have mentioned over here in the strong inline element. The line height is 3. I think the output is clear for you that these two lines are, there is no line height between these two lines, but see here in the bold line we have the line height as 3. Okay, the imaginary box gets automatically adjusted to the content we have specified inside. Okay, so that's it about the today's topic. Hope it's quite simple. Okay, so it is like recollecting the previous topic box model. Okay, with little difference, how the browser renders those elements when we place the content inside the HTML element, how the imaginary every rectangular box gets adjusted by itself to fit those contents. Okay, so the one thing I need to stress again here is you practice it. Okay, each and every property value you go and change, practice it, and experience its output. Okay, and I'll meet you in the next class. Till then, thank you all.